When Bon Scott died on February 19th, 1980, a lot of people thought that was the end of AC/DC. And yet somehow, 5 months later, July 25th, 1980, they released what many people consider to be the greatest album of all time. Today, on the 45th anniversary of its release, we talk Back in Black, next on the Hair Metal Guru. Welcome to the Hair Metal Guru. My name is Anthony. They call me the Guru. And yes, I gotta have Ryan on to talk AC/DC because today, July 25th, 2025, it is the 45th anniversary of Back in Black coming out. I have talked about this album as possibly my favorite album of all time. Ryan is a massive AC/DC fan, so we're going to talk about the album and its impact on us. With that, Ryan, welcome back to the show.
Well, thank you, man. This is where I need to be. 45 years later, it's about a year before I was born. I can't believe it. This album still sounds brand new to me, and there aren't many moments in music that legitimately, repeatedly give me the chills. But watching the boys open with Back in Black, the song on the Ball Breaker tour, gives me the chills every time. It was my first concert.
Yeah.
And they do such a good job of it. And man, this is such an epic album. I can't say enough about it.
Yeah. So I want to get into like our history with it, and we're going to go track by track and just talk a little bit about each of the songs. But before we do, I got this in the mail today. From you, autographed, the Metalcast CD. We did our interview where we talked about the process of you and Metal Mike from the 80s Glam Metalcast making this and finally coming out with the whole 10-song CD. We talked track by track. I'll probably put something in, and maybe I'll put the interview down in the description. But finally got this in the mail. I highly recommend that you pick this up, and I'll put the purchase link for the CD in the description as well. But thanks for sending this over, man.
Oh, of course, man. Good thing for like 10 years. I thought I was going to make it big in baseball and go pro, and I practiced that thing. You know, it's supposed to be on the crown of a baseball, you know?
Right.
I'm only 5'10" and I played shortstop, so there was no hope. But
hey, maybe fucking some rich, powerful person will get a hold of this or come across a song on YouTube and go, you know what? I need to pay those guys lots of money to write songs for my bands.
Well, awesome. I hope you crank it, dude.
Yeah. So, okay. I remember my first memory of listening to this album. So my cousins grew up about 40 miles from me. I actually went to kindergarten in a place called Wyndmere, North Dakota, which is where the author Chuck Klosterman, who wrote the book Fargo Rock City, he's a big hair metal fan. He's written for ESPN and all these magazines. Anyway, he is from there. Well, that's where I went to kindergarten, and that's where my cousins are from. So whenever possible growing up, I was going to Wyndmere to hang out with my cousins. My cousin Becky is 5 days older than me. And then my cousin Doug is 6 years older than me. My cousin Dwayne is 4 years older than me. Well, I think I was 9. It's Thanksgiving Day, 1981. And we're on Thanksgiving break. So, you know, we all go to my grandma's place, and then my parents are like, yeah, you can go stay with your cousins for the weekend because they had a farm and motorcycles and all sorts of cool shit to do. And so I go home with them. Well, their mom died when I was 4. She was very young. She got cancer at an early age. So I'm just saying this. They were amazing. But they didn't have a lot of rules. Their dad was a farmer, constantly working. And in North Dakota, to drink as a teenager is pretty much a given. That's what a lot of people did. So my cousins would drink every now and then. Well, they had a case of old Milwaukee, and I was going out with them, and they're like, fuck it. They threw me in the truck, and we're going driving around the country, and they let me have like 2 beers, and I'm like, what the fuck is this all about? But we're listening to Back in Black. It's 1981. And I just was like, fuck. Like, I wasn't really, didn't know shit about music at that point, but I just remember thinking, like, this is good. And they were talking about it, and they were like, they were both big football players. This is a little town in North Dakota, and they would talk about, like, how every practice or in the locker room, they're always listening to this album and how great it was. So I just remember hearing it back then. Um, but it has been an important part of my history ever since. And it does not age. Like, I was listening to it today because I'm like, oh, throw it on again. And it's still like, holy fuck, how does this album stay so great 45 years later? So that was my introduction to it. And still, like, again, all through high school, and even, it was like the most natural workout music ever. So anytime, you were in a gym, if people couldn't agree on what to play, it's like, fuck it, throw in Back in Black. We'll all
Oh
be
yeah.
good with that. So do you have any memories about you getting into this album?
Yeah. So my dad had If You Want Blood, You Got It live, Highway to Hell, and he bought Back in Black. He was a big Bond guy, and he's like me now, where there is no Bond or Brian. It's AC/DC. I will never decide. They're both the best.
Yeah.
Um, he didn't love Back in Black. He didn't think it was. It wasn't the same AC/DC. So he was one of those.
Yeah.
Fast forward to 1990. I'm 9, and The Razor's Edge comes out. I'm obsessed with Money Talks. It's everywhere. It's on MTV. He rediscovered Brian at that point. At that point, Back in Black did not come out of my Walkman at the time, which was my tape hand me down from my brother.
Right.
And I did not stop listening to it all the time in our room, shared a room with my brother, all around the house, all that stuff. Like you said, this album, I revisited it today. Didn't need to, but I did. Didn't age. It's so smooth. It flows so well. There is not a moment on this album that is out of place. So that's my history. I have been obsessed with this album since I was 9 years old, similar to you. So, 10 years later, of course,
Yeah.
but it was at that point. So if it can impact a kid, it can impact anybody. And you're right. I remember being at football practice in the 90s, and this album would be played in its entirety during our workouts.
Yeah.
And it was in the 90s when shit like this, was a little bit passe, although Thunderstruck was always played.
Yeah.
So anyway, it never gets old, dude.
Yeah. Like, even when I was coaching little kids basketball, like, these kids who had never listened to rock music could be like, "Oh wow, that's pretty." I mean, it's something to do with the beat, the groove. There is no wasted guitar riffs. There's no filler on this thing. I mean,
Yeah.
my son is 18. Like, now he fucking just loves rap, but he likes Back in Black.
Yeah.
So, um, produced by Mutt Lang, and you gotta say that had and I'll kind of backtrack a little bit because you did bring up Bon Scott. Highway
Yeah.
to Hell, slowly. That's another one that I've just gotten more, and because that was before my time.
Yeah.
I wasn't listening to Highway to Hell growing up, but probably wasn't until I was in high school. You're like, oh yeah, I like that Highway to Hell song, and I love Back in Black, so I should go check out the whole album. And you're like, wait a minute, what the fuck?
Yeah.
So that's great too. But Mutt Lang produces both of those albums. And even though AC/DC was great without Mutt Lang made sure there wasn't a wasted second on those albums. And I think you got to give him some of the credit, for making Back in Black what it became.
yeah, somehow he took that album, made it hard as shit, but easy listening.
Yep.
The fact that he could make those drums and bass, like, just think about the drums and bass and Touch Too Much and the rhythm guitar. And you're like, oh, this is one of the best riffs, the best songs, but it's like pleasing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Similar to like, just think of the intro to Shake a Leg. That should be hard as shit. And it is hard as shit, but it's somehow pleasing to the ear.
Yeah.
I don't know what he did, twisted those knobs just right.
I think and he understood that you could be heavy and like the riffs didn't have to be played very fast. I mean, he slowed things down and let them breathe. And I think one thing that I always think of when I think of AC/DC is like the space that they leave in between riffs just makes everything just sound like, oh,
Yeah.
that's so fucking cool.
Yeah.
It's not awkward to have a couple seconds where you're not hearing the guitars going, and so they did that better than anybody. And I think a lot of bands tried to copy the shit out of that later on in the 80s, and rightfully so, if you copy it from the masters of it. But their music breathed, and
Yeah.
it just did shit that most bands weren't doing at the time. Unbelievable.
Listen to the song Back in Black and you listen to Phil's drums. It's boom, tsh, boom, tsh, boom, tsh. And it's like, that's slower than most songs, but then he catches up and he mimics the banan, 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 which is killer.
Yep. Yep.
But that's unlike Phil. Phil's usually very Highway to Hell opening. You know what I mean? So the fact that they can make that song so hard and headbanging with such a pretty much a slow drum beat, which really drives the song, it really goes to show the genius of the band and Mutt at the time.
Right. So sold over 50 million, at least the last check, 50 million copies worldwide, 25 times platinum in the United States alone. Peaked at number one in Australia, Canada, and the United Kingdom, but only went to number 4. I mean, isn't it just shocking that thing didn't fucking find its way to number 1 in America?
It does, yeah.
So, and Rolling Stone ranked it number 82 on its 2020 list of the 500 greatest albums of all time. I mean, I can see where there might be people who think it's not the greatest, but you're telling me it's not in the fucking top 10? Come on.
Yeah, silly Rolling Stone.
That's ridiculous. What the fuck? What? I made a video. Somebody had ranked the top 100 albums of all time, and there was all this like fucking so much Appetite for Destruction was like 79.
Oh my gosh.
Back in Black was like in the fucking 80s. And then there's like fucking, who knows, Shakira or some shit in the top 10. And you're like, yep, that's better than Back in Black. It's the fucking dumbest thing I ever heard.
Oh, totally.
All right. How about we go through each of the tracks and we'll just give our brief. Starts off with Hell's Bells. And I think that eerie fucking ringing of the bell is the perfect kickoff to this album, and it's kind of like a nod to the death of Bon Scott, and the all black album cover was a tribute to the death of Bon Scott. And that riff comes in, and I won't do too many lyrics, but I love this. I'm rolling thunder, pouring rain. I'm coming on like a hurricane. White light flashing across the sky. You're only young, but you're gonna die. Fucking what a beginning.
Totally. Have you read the Brian book, The Life of Brian?
No, I need to get it. Fuck.
Yeah, I think we talked about it once at probably one of our AC/DC episodes, but it's interesting because it's truly the life of Brian up until the release of Back in Black. So to me, love Brian. I would have preferred, obviously, all the way through. You know what I mean? Like all the way through the 80s, 90s, 2000s.
Right.
To know what really went on behind the scenes because they're such a private band.
Yeah.
Now, for it to be released and only go up to the release of Back in Black is cool to like really, really zero in and dig into the how he got in the band,
right?
The recording and whatnot. But I bring that up because a lot of the references of what we'll speak of are from the book, which is cool. And it's, you nailed it. It's such a wonderful Bond tribute with the
Yep.
bells and the album cover, very fitting. But the actual bell, which they wanted to have forged, wasn't ready in time for the recording, and they wanted a certain key. They wanted the key that ended up on the album, so they kept attempting to record a bell ringing. So anyway, they couldn't find. They found appropriate bells, the sizes and whatnot they need, but every time they'd ring the bell, they had this remote recording device. The freaking birds would fly away and come back. And so at the time, now you could probably be like, boop, and you'd erase that somehow.
Right.
Back then, it was, whatever. So they ended up ringing a bell and then slowing the track down to obtain the tone or key that they ended up and that they wanted as the bell ringing in Hell's Bells. But that thing's legit, and they've toted it everywhere since then. And I got a feeling it's not cheap to be hauling that thing around.
Well, I'm sure. So, and I got a feeling that AC/DC has enough money to haul that fucking thing around. What's up?
I think they do.
All right. And I'll let you start the next one. The next track is Shoot the Thrill. Yeah. What do you think?
It may be the best example of Malcolm's driving rhythm guitar, ever. I mean, if you really think about that and you watch like Live at Donington from 91, watch Malcolm. He makes this song. Yeah. And the fact that there's that breakdown in the middle and Brian does his little rap thing, and it's there's no wonder why this song was huge then, in the Iron Man soundtrack, still played today, etc., etc. Amazing rhythm. Can't give Malcolm enough credit for this one.
This possibly battles for my favorite song on the album.
Nice.
And that didn't happen until years later, like I don't know, like, and we'll get to the song that I maybe thought was for a while, and it's also been my ringtone for the last 5 years. Yeah. And the opening of Iron Man 2, when they're playing Shoot the Thrill, I was like, fuck yes, what an epic use for that song. It made me love that movie even more. Amazing track.
Good for Downey.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. All right. Track number 3 is What Do You Do for Money, Honey? Okay, I have a funny story about this. So I was in Iraq in 2003, 2004. And about 2 weeks before we were ready to go home, we're all giddy as shit. We've been gone for 16 months. So we're like, me and a couple buddies of mine, I lived with 2 other guys in a small tent. Well, one of the other guys, we're like, we're going to fucking do a strip show. We had a bunch of girls, and they were just hilarious, and they were just our good friends. Well, the other guy that lived with us, we had a video camera, so he recorded it, and we wrote all this like we put on clothes, but he wrote on his chest. We were medics. He wrote on his chest, "Dr. Love, prescription filled here," and then he put an arrow down, and then I wrote on my chest, "I heart Uranus," or maybe my favorite planet is Uranus or something like that. So then all these girls knew we were going to do something, so they're all in this other tent. So we come walking in, we got sunglasses on, we got all this army gear on, and we start stripping off and shit. It was just fucking hilarious, but it was to the song "What Do You Do for Money, Honey?" And beautiful. We were dying, and I was just talking to those guys. I'm like, we used to have the video of it. I don't know where it fucking went. I would give anything to have that again. But awesome. Catchy as shit. I love this song. I mean, it's, this might be considered a deep track, but any band would kill to have a song like this.
I just love the fact that he says the word bitch in the song. It's perfect. It's well timed. There's a few guys that swear in songs. David Lee Roth does it pretty well. Yeah. Bond may have slipped one in. Brian says bitch in this song. It's great. What a killer song. There's nothing slow about this album. And this, I love your story. It couldn't have been a better song for that.
Hell yeah. Track number 4 is Giving the Dog a Bone. I'll let you start off.
Pure filth. Pure filth. Love it. There was a t-shirt out at the time, probably released in the 90s, really. The cartoon Doghouse. Yeah. Dog with it was just like I said, this was like a foot. This reminds me of football, I played football and baseball, and this album was played nonstop. This song the guys loved the most. It's just like one of the filthier ones, which
Yeah.
I love about this album.
Right. Right. Phenomenal riff. I never get tired of the song.
No,
Like you were talking about the drums earlier, like they sound so simple, but I don't know. People and I'm not a musician, but people say like he plays behind the beat.
yeah,
Whatever it is, it just his drumming just makes everything magnified 10 times catchy. It just fucking makes the album. So anyway,
yeah,
amazing
totally
song.
good.
Track number 5, Let Me Put My Love Into You. I think it's a sexual song. I'm not 100% sure.
Could
Uh,
be.
Great song. And a great song. And it's probably my least favorite song on the album. And if this is the worst song on your album, you fucking rule because it's still a very good song.
I have the exact same notes. I totally agree. It's always been, I wouldn't even say the weak spot because it's not weak.
Yeah.
It's still like, if I were to truly rank this album, it would be a 10.
Yeah.
This song is like a 9.8. You know what I mean? And it's like, so I went back to it again today and I was like, okay, why do I think it's the weak spot? I think it might just be the opening riff and verse.
Yes.
From there on, it builds and builds and builds, and it might even take the cake for like maybe top 3 or 4 guitar solos on the album once you dig into it and you're like, there's nothing wrong with this thing. Not at all. There was, yeah, I was going to say I wrote one thing on it, but yeah, that's it.
You're exactly right. It's just the intro. Like instead of having this kick-ass drum beat or some ultimate riff, it just has a different intro
Yeah,
than what you're used to hearing on this album. And then the song becomes great. It
yeah,
doesn't start off with the holy shit like almost every other song on the album.
absolutely.
Is it?
Totally agree. And I used to think like, man, I wish they would have put like I put the finger or let's get it up or like COD or something like that in place of this.
Right.
And now I think that it flows perfectly. I
Right.
wouldn't change it.
Right. Track number 6. It's the fucking title track. Back in Black. I'll let you start us off.
Well, it's tied with Animal as probably my favorite song of all time. Animal, Def Leppard, and this song, like, it's truly a song I won't turn off. Like, religiously, I can't do it, but honestly, I will never do it. It's just too good. It 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 hits every genre's um their wheelhouse. It could be a rap song, the way he machine guns the vocals, the drums, the riff. People can play the riff.
Yeah.
I can play the riff, and I'm not a guitar player.
Yeah.
It's like you see Brian doing it now, and he kind of substitutes some words or phrases some words differently, but it's almost like it's impossible to do what he did on the record. I don't blame him at all. It's the perfect song.
Yeah. Charlie wants to say hi. Yeah, because you like AC/DC. That's your favorite album. Yeah. Anyway, one of the most iconic guitar riffs in music history, one of the greatest songs of all time. And when I was in high school, like, here's especially this album, like, this was dance music to us.
Yeah.
Like people would be like, you can't dance to rock. I'm like, fucking the drum beats and the spaced riffs this is dance music. I'm like, fucking hey, this is the kind of shit that we were requesting from DJs in high school. And that's, here it is, it's hard rock, but it can be all things to everybody. I say this is dance music, and it's a fucking one of the greatest songs ever.
Agreed.
So, track number 7 is You Shook Me All Night Long. It's got that simple little intro that everyone knows. And I thought, at least growing up, to me, this was always the definitive AC/DC song. When I was hanging out with people, this I thought, and maybe I remember wrong, This was the song people would be like, hey, requested at dances.
Yeah.
Girls who maybe weren't hard rock. Oh, play You Shook Me All Night Long. Like I grew up thinking that this was everybody's favorite AC/DC song. And then maybe when you get older, okay, a lot of people were saying Back in Black, but I don't know. This album and hard rock in general in the upper Midwest, North Dakota, Minnesota, you hear all these bands talk about how they could still survive playing in the upper Midwest. This album was so massive in North Dakota, and it just felt like You Shook Me All Night Long was the song from this album in North Dakota.
Yeah, I mean, this song was played in the 90s at dances for kids all the time. And they'd always look to me because they knew I was the AC/DC guy. And they'd look to me. And of course, I knew every note, every lyric, every guitar riff, all that bit. When I got married, we had our after party, and I hired this ripper to play the after party. And he was a guy that
Stripper?
played a ripper.
You hired a stripper to play for your wife?
Ripper. Nope. I had that covered.
Okay. Hey, I've seen his wife. Fucking, I'll volunteer too. What's up?
And this guy was in a Sunset Strip band back in the day called Spiced Ice, which no one has heard of. But this guy he looked the part, he sounded the part, and he played my after party. And I go, dude, I got to do a song with you. And, I'm half in the bag, and I'm like, let's fucking do this. And he's like, well, what song do you want to do? And I'm like, Highway to Hell. And he's like, dude, you got married today. It's probably not the best choice. And I was like, thank you. You are right. He goes, let's do You Shook Me All Night Long. So this song reemerged in my life as something very special. And there's a full video that you'll never see of me doing this song.
Please let me see it. I'm serious.
Of me doing this song. And I was like, it's back. Because for years I loved this song. And then I had a lull where I was like, too much. I've heard it too much. I'm over it. And now I'm back. So what a great song. And you can't get enough. It's like this and Money Talks are the people that, people say, oh, they sold out. They had to get big on a pop song with You Shook Me All Night Long, Money Talks, even Who Made Who to a certain extent. But no, it's still good, dude. Brian sounds great.
Hell yes. Hell yes.
Yeah.
All right. Track number 8 is Have a Drink on Me. Go ahead.
This is the epitome of guitar riff. The opening. It's like every time I think, okay, it's time I really actually learn how to play guitar. This is what I want to start off with. And this is just like, oh God, dude, it's like the blues on steroids, and as much as I love the mid 80s AC/DC where they kind of ditched the blues stuff, this fits very well. Very, very well. People kind of bagged on this song in terms of like it being a little bit, what's the word for Bon, being disrespectful, I guess.
He died of drinking too much, and then they have a song about
Yeah, and they thought, that probably wasn't the best taste.
Right.
But, I don't think so. As the years go by, I don't think so. But, dude, again, this song could be anybody else's crown jewel, and it's a deep track, if you will.
I fucking love this song. I would give this song a 10. And it's got one of the coolest lyrics in music history when he says, don't worry about tomorrow. Take it today. Forget about the check. We'll get hell to pay. I love this song. It's one of my favorite songs on the album.
Absolutely. Great.
All right. Okay. Track number 9 is Shake a Leg. And this is where, again, AC/DC's deep tracks would be the best song on another band's album. Completely underrated song that I never skip. I don't know if I hear people talk about it a lot. Maybe they do, but I fucking love this song.
Oh, this is probably next to Back in Black, my favorite on the album. I love this song. It never gets old. The drum intro, the lyrics, his pitch in his voice. I mean, Brian's voice on this album was unlike any other singer, maybe a Robert Plant, you know what I mean? But even then, he kind of surpasses it with the rasp.
Yeah.
And after this album, his voice changed a little bit, but I still love it. But this album really showcases what he could do vocally at the time. And in that book, The Life of Brian, he plays the record for one of his buddies. He gets a pressing of the record and he goes, holy shit. And he puts it on. And he actually had to go to his friend's house to play it because he didn't have a record player. And he puts it on. And his first thing his buddy says is, Brian, you're singing too high. You're singing way too high. And it's like he had to show his stuff.
Yeah.
He was the new guy. He was jazzed up. He was full of adrenaline. He wrote the lyrics in not that much time.
Right.
And he belted it out. And I don't think he's ever done it again.
Yeah. Like when you go back, you forget how high he used to sing. You know, when you see him live now or on the newer albums, it's so growly and gravelly, which I love too. But damn, he had a high voice on this album.
Way high.
Yeah. And it was fucking epic.
Very.
Yeah. All right. Track number 10, Rock and Roll Ain't Noise Pollution. Start her off.
Well, again, in the book, he talks about how the fellas just turned him loose. And he really was there smoking a cigarette, talking about, he just had to rap something basically. So he does his speaking at the intro of the song. And it's one of those songs. It's like the best mid-tempo song you've ever heard in your life.
Yeah.
And people don't think of it as mid-tempo because it's AC/DC, but it is compared to the rest of the album.
Yeah.
It's got so much feel, this song, and so much depth and humor and everything. It's like Bon was the king of humorous shit. And Brian kind of took it and went, okay, I'll keep going. He's a humorous guy as well. So yeah, dude, this song doesn't get old ever. I love it.
Charlie's got to go potty. I love this song. I'll be honest. It's probably my second least favorite song on the album, but that's not like I don't like it. I'm just saying if I had to rank them in order, this would probably be track number 9. Again, AC/DC's worst tracks on this album would be anybody else's best tracks. I think it's an iconic AC/DC song. It's fucking great. I happen to think there's better on the album, but it's still awesome.
Right. Exactly. Cool. And the last thing I'll say is, dude, I read an interview years ago. Like you, I have a shit ton of old metal magazines. And I read an interview, and I believe it was from the For Those About to Rock tour. So I'm thinking it was around 1982. And Brian speaks of a mistake he made on the album somewhere on Back in Black. And since I got those magazines when I was in high school, so, fast forward almost 30 years or whatever, I've been trying to find it. And I can't find the mistake he made. And I went back today. Listen closely, viewers out there. It might be the word ammunition in Giving the Dog a Bone, but I don't know. He kind of squeaks in that song. But anybody out there in YouTube land, check it out. Let me know if you guys hear a mistake on this album, because I've been listening for so many years, and I can't find it. The word might be ammunition in Giving a Dog a Bone, but I don't know.
Okay. Interesting. I need to get that fucking book.
It's a cool book.
Yeah. All right. Awesome. Okay. Hey, that brings us to the end of the track by track. 45 years ago today, July 25th, 1980, Back in Black comes out, and it is one of, and maybe the most iconic rock album in history. So Ryan and I had to take some time to salute one of the greatest albums of all time. With that, Ryan, thanks for coming on and talking about Back in Black.
Thank you very much. It was an honor to speak of such a great album.
All right. Hey, let us know your comments or what you think of AC/DC Back in Black. Do you think we're being too hyperbolic? Do you think it's overrated? Maybe you think it's the greatest album of all time. We want to know what you got to think. And hey, subscribe, what the hell, ring the bell, and whatever you can do to support the channel. I just appreciate you being here. Until the next video comes out, my name is Anthony. They call me the Guru. Take care of yourselves.